Welcome to Whiskey's a Journey. My name is Peter Fastiano, and you guys are watching my Monday series, currently running with the Irish single pot still whiskeys. Today, we're going to stick around Middleton like we have been for the past couple of weeks, and we're going to take a look at Redbreast Lustau. Just like always, let's go ahead and pour it, nose it, taste it, talk about it a little bit, and then if you stick around until the end, I'm going to go ahead and give this thing a score. If you guys know my love of sherried whiskeys, this is definitely ranking up there with them. The Lustau's coming in at 46% ABV. Like I just mentioned, single pot still Irish whiskey, triple distilled. And originally it's matured in ex-bourbon and ex-Oloroso, and then it's finished in Lustau Oloroso sherry butts. And the Oloroso sherry butts are first fill from the Bodega Lustau in southern Spain. This is a non-age stated Irish single pot still, but it's aged anywhere from 7 to 12 years. And then it finishes for 1 full year in the Lustau Oloroso sherry butts. It's non-chill filtered, it's natural color, it's a 750 milliliter bottle, and then at the time that I purchased this, which was early on, it's $75.99, and then I took a look at it, and online it's going for pretty much the same price. So kudos to this not going up in price like all of the other Irish whiskeys are. Let's get it on the nose. All right, sherry influence. Get a good amount of oak. There's some spice. The sherry that I'm getting in here is not necessarily as sweet as the others that I've tasted before. So I would say it takes a little bit of a back seat to the oak and the spice. But the sweetness that I'm getting are like light stone fruits, apricots, peaches, a little bit of toffee, a little bit of vanilla, and a tiny, like a very tiny amount of nuttiness, which I've never gotten in Redbreast before. That's interesting. And maybe that nuttiness is part of the oak as well. This is far more oaky than the other Redbreasts that I've had. All right, let's go ahead and get it on the palate. The oak that I got on the nose is also coming through on the palate, followed by the pot still spice. And the pot still spice is coming across as a sweet cooking spice, not necessarily a pepper note. The ABV being at 46% is almost non-existent on the palate. I believe this is pretty consistent from the arrival to the mid palate and the finish. The finish is rather short to medium, actually borderline on the short. The sherry note on the palate is coming across as a little bit more figgy and date rather than the apricot and the peach. The nuttiness is there, but it's way back behind all of that other stuff. Let's get a third sip down, talk a little bit about this, and then give it a score. Yeah, third sip. I'm really surprised on how much oak is actually coming through here. And I'm wondering if that's just the 3 barrels, the Oloroso, the ex-bourbon, and then another year in the Oloroso sherry butt. And there's definitely nothing spiky about this at all. It's very well-rounded. And maybe that finish is bumped up to medium. It gets on the palate, it explodes with those flavors, and then disappears. All right, now a little bit of information. This was my very first Irish whiskey out of the Redbreast lineup that I actually purchased. And just like the Blue Spot, when I purchased it, I was pretty oblivious as to the history behind it and how soon it was actually offered in the United States after it was discontinued. So from the information that I had, the Redbreast lineup was discontinued in the 1980s and then relaunched in 1991. And I don't necessarily know if that was globally or if just in the United States. And just like always, I'm not an expert on whiskey history. Let me know in the comments down below if my information is incorrect, because I don't claim to be an expert, and some of the information that I get on the internet is obviously not correct. After the Redbreast lineup was reintroduced, Lustau actually hit the markets in 2016. And like all of the other Redbreast products, this is distilled in the Middleton distillery. Now, before I go any further, if you guys are liking this information and you're not subscribed to the channel, do me a favor and subscribe to the channel. I go live with videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So do all those things that YouTubers ask you to do. If you guys are familiar with the Redbreast lineup, or if you've had the Lustau before, let me know in the comments down below. Turn on that bell notification, and if you're inclined, go ahead and share this with somebody that's in the whiskey world that might get enjoyment out of it. All right, before I take my 4th sip, that 3rd sip, like I had mentioned before, it disappears rather quick. The amount of oak that is actually in this glass sticks around for a little while, but the other flavors disappear Again, the 46% ABV I thought would stick around a little bit more, at least have that alcohol note in the mouth, that ethanol aftertaste, but it's completely gone. So let's get the fourth sip down, see if anything changes, and then move on to the score. All right, on that fourth sip, just like always, when I bring it up to my mouth to take a sip, it's open, I'm breathing in a little bit, and the sherry notes were the first thing that I took note of. And then as soon as it hits the mouth, it's a tremendous amount of oak, a little bit of a pot still spice, and then the apple note actually kind of came through there a little bit. I still get apricot and peach. Vanilla is there, but I wouldn't say it's a very dominant note. And then that nuttiness, that is absolutely surprising to me that the nuttiness is there. I've never gotten that before out of any of the Redbreasts. And maybe it just might be today, because that's the beauty of whiskey. Every time you taste it, you might get something a little bit different. So moving on to the score. My rating system is out of 5 stars. Because of all of the nuances of this, and this does taste slightly different than the other Redbreasts that I've had before, I'm gonna rank this up pretty high. I'm not gonna put it into the 4s, but I really do like what the Lustau is offering, a little bit different than the other Redbreasts. So because of that, I'm gonna put this one at 3.95. It's well balanced. The ABV doesn't overwhelm you. You want to keep going back for more. And with the amount of oak and the nuttiness that's in here, I think that's an interesting change up from the other Redbreasts. So 3.95. Do you guys agree? Do you disagree? Where would you guys rank this in the lineup of all of the Redbreasts? And that's where I'm going to leave it. So I hope you guys are enjoying your journey, because the more I'm getting into this, the more I'm enjoying mine. So that's it for today. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.